Thank you. Item number 4 is approval of our meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Harper, second by Treasurer Horning. Any discussion? Being none, all's in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Number 5 this evening, we have a proclamation honoring Laura DeRozier and Maggie DeLauder for Relay for Life. And at this time, I'm going to have Trustee Kalani read the proclamation, and then afterwards we'll take a picture in honor of your special evening.
Just real quick, Larry, do we need a motion for the proclamation, or just read it? Okay. This is a proclamation from Hartland Township. Whereas our community is one known for its generosity and engagement with one another, and whereas volunteers within Hartland Township make community events such as Relay for Life possible and have become a vital and positive force within Hartland Township, that charity and social responsibility manifests all that is good in an individual, and that the well-being of a community is largely dependent on helping others. And whereas these efforts are highly valued by township leaders and the community at large and are deserving of public recognition. Now therefore, we, the Hartland Township Board of Trustees, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim the efforts of Laura DeRozier as an extraordinary 2014 Relay for Life captain and volunteer.
And Maggie as well.
I'm going to read that one.
We can do the whole thing?
Well, it should.
All right. Very good.
Got a second proclamation. Whereas our community is one known for its generosity and engagement with one another, and whereas the volunteers within Hartland Township make community events such as Relay for Life possible and have become a vital and positive force within Hartland Township, the charity and social responsibility manifests all that is good in an individual, and that the well-being of the community is largely dependent on helping others. And whereas these efforts are highly valued by the township leaders and the community at large and are deserving of public recognition, now, therefore, we, the Hartland Township Board of Trustees, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim the efforts of Maggie DeLauder as an extraordinary 2014 Relay for Life captain and volunteer.
Thank you. And if we'd like to, the Board of Trustees, take a quick break and we'll go over and take a picture.
I think they want to do it.
Or in front here, wherever they would like. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for all your efforts. Next, we have call to the public. Anybody call to the public this evening? Yes.
Nikki and I would like to give this to you guys for being a wonderful township and having a great, awesome, I don't know if you guys know this, the team that you guys have this year, they were really appreciated this year. They did a great job, and we want to present this to the township.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep. Anybody else this evening to call to the public? If there's nobody else that call to the public, we'll move on to item number 7, approval of our consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Kalani, second by Trustee Harper. Any discussion?
I have a quick question about the budget amendment for the cleanup day. The way I understand it, we overspent our allocated budget by about $2,500, and that the budget amendment is for that amount. Where I'm confused is that it seems like it's supposed to be offset by the scrap tire grant and the freon removal.
Well, the trouble is the freon and the tire grant come in as a revenue, so it doesn't directly take it off that line item.
But the true cost to us,
Well,
not...
in the final report.
You still have to make a budget adjustment when your expenses
Spending.
go up above it.
Yeah,
But I think that's good that we
right.
make sure we put that in our record or on the record so
The
that people
final report.
understand when they look at that we have a budget amendment that's offset by grants that we
Revenue.
receive.
There was a grant as well, correct, that we received this year, the tire grant?
That's
Okay.
right. That's what we're referring to.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
I thought that's what it was, but
Okay,
I wondered
got
what
it.
Joe said. I wasn't
Any other
clear.
questions or comments on the consent agenda? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item number 8A is Ore Valley Drive, confirmation of special assessment role. Tonight's a public hearing. And the public hearing this evening is to preserve your right to object to the special assessment district at the tax tribunal. If you would like to object or before it, you need to state your objection today for the record, or you can put it in writing to the township. So if there's anything else this evening, I'd like to open up the public hearing. Yes, sir. If you could please come forward and just state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Paul Reinhardt, resident of Ore Valley, 2885. I do have a couple concerns, maybe an objection if it isn't part of the assessment district. I did read a portion of the assessment, and from my understanding, talking with Mr. West, is that there's no provision for water drainage on the assessment. Am I correct?
Mr. West, he's our DPW director. I'm going to refer that question to Bob. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, you are absolutely correct. The road assessment does not have provisions for drainage improvements. I have reached out to the Livingston County Road Commission as well as the Livingston County Drain Commission. The Road Commission has indicated that they will improve the minor ditching that they are allowed in that jurisdiction over a long done road that butts up to the property prior, as well as continue to maintain after these improvements are completed. As far as the drainage issues that were brought to my attention as well, the Livingston County Drain Commission has expressed that those are private drains and they cannot do anything with them without adopting some sort of drainage district, which would require a separate assessment for the drainage improvements. So that was basically the stance that Livingston County had. They're more than willing to do that. It would take some resident input and initiation on that as well.
This is a special, or private road as well, correct?
That is correct.
So everything about this is really private, except that under the law, we're permitted to assist
In funding.
in the funding, but recoup those costs through special assessment, correct?
Absolutely correct.
So in answer to your drainage issue, if there's a drainage issue, there's the process for that is a little bit different process, which again, we don't have control over. It's private.
As residents, we're going to spend $168,000 to build a road, and part of that engineering, I would assume would be to ensure the integrity of the road is that they get rid of the water.
Well, I would agree with you. I mean, it should be part of the design.
Spend $168,000 and have a road washed out, not so much from Dunham's issues, which has been an issue for 20, 30 years. If you would, I would like to show you a few pictures of the situation that we have.
Are we, just a minute, are we handling the construction? Is it us, is it the township that's dealing with the construction, or how is this being handled?
Yes, we are basically contracting that with HRC.
Okay, so HRC...
HRC will oversee the construction.
Okay, and do you know if they have specifications on how the drainage is going to be dealt with?
Not specific to each individual parcel or the ditch line, but to the road itself. A lot of the current drainage issues, they believe, are a result of the lack of crown. The water just sits in pools on the road because there is no crown to the road any longer.
Okay. So I guess my question would be similar to what he's...
Can I show you the scenario that we're under right now?
I think you shared
Just
those,
to make
didn't
the
you?
board aware of what's going on, because you have to stand behind this road for, 7 years? Is the township's responsibility to maintain that road for 7 years?
No.
We got a special assessment, for 6?
Correct. It's your road. It's always going to be your road.
Okay, so if we put $168,000 into this road and we get it undermined from a water drainage issue, then who is responsible for the repair?
You are.
Yes, it's a private road.
Is there any way to restructure the assessment district, just put a slight division to take care of a couple minor issues with the drainage?
I don't think so.
If it wasn't under the original scope, then the whole role would have to be revisited with the new scope of work. It was this is my understanding, the association came to us to basically repave the road itself through a special assessment district, which is what that's the scope that we've been under the impression. There was no drainage, it was just basically redoing the asphalt on top.
But I would assume that Hubble, Roth, and Clark is doing the engineering for this. They'll be preparing the specifications. The specifications will deal with how the road will be drained. I mean, it's going to have a crown, so that it properly, or at
Right.
least drains off. But if there's an issue now with the drainage, I sort of agree we shouldn't necessarily undertake. It doesn't make sense to throw money away if you're not going to correct the drainage. So if there's a drainage issue, I would rather have Hubble, Roth, and Clark look at this. But it isn't going to slow up the assessment. It just delays the construction. If we have to revise the assessment because they haven't addressed the drainage, then we can come back to it.
I think Bill's saying that wasn't the scope of the
It wasn't the
association.
scope, number one, that we were asked to do,
Right.
based on our first petition.
They just want us.
Now, if drainage is added in, I think you'd have to almost start over. I don't know the answer.
I don't know. Here's my thought on it. My thought is that road drainage is part of building a road. You have to have drainage. Now, if there's some off-site further drainage issue, I don't know if that's what they're talking about, or if they're talking about just the road itself.
These are existing ditches that are over 25, 30 years old, whenever the road was established prior to '88. And you know as well as I do, trees grow, and if you would, I would like to just show you a few pictures, if I could, just to make the board aware before they implement this road improvement, which I'm all for, and I really appreciate the board considering that. But as a resident, I want to make sure that some of these minor alterations that need to be taken, and they might even fit within the scope or a slight alteration of the scope just to take care of some of the smaller issues.
I think what Bill is saying, and I agree with, is that needs to come back through the association. That the township basically is providing a mechanism so everybody in that subdivision or that street doesn't have to pay for all that money up front to get your own road paved.
I understand.
So-
I think he understands that. What I'm trying to say is that Hubble, Roth, and Clark may have considered this as part of the overall spec.
It might be already in the...
It may be already part of the spec. That's all we need to know.
Do we know
I've not seen the specs.
So, I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
On that, and Mr. West couldn't provide them for him because that comes at the end of it all, before you actually start the project.
Bob, can you kind of...
Yeah, quite frankly, the project has not been designed yet.
Okay.
And that's part of the scope of the special assessment will include going out there doing the survey. Their scope of work did not include any ditch line drainage issues. The road itself lacks crown. It does sit lower than the sides, but the road, they're not removing material. This is a crush and a reshape. So the road will be elevated 3 to 3.5 inches, and then if with a proper crown, they believe it will drain properly.
Okay. I agree with that. If the culverts are open, may I submit a picture? And you can. Sure. 80% of the water drains down goes out. This is what he said. But when you got a tree face growing into a gutter, how is it going to drain? Now, 80% of that water is going to go into the drain now, but it has no place to go because a tree is plugging up the culvert. This is one of the first culverts on War Valley, on the north end. Now, if we get a runoff, a heavy snow and a runoff, we're the recipients of Sun Terrace and Bullock's Field. When we're the recipients of Bullock's water, where's it going to go if I have no culvert? Or if a culvert is higher, it's going to go right over top of the road. Then when Paul Reinhardt's going to be back in at the township and said, heck, for another $1,000, they could have took care of another minor issue. I just want the board aware of this, and hopefully that they can Hubble, Rock, and Clark will see this issue. And I may know Wesley, that he's conscious about seeing what he can do about getting it done, along with it done.
Right, and I think the assessment role, if I'm not mistaken here.
If the scope of the project goes above 10% of this, we have to have another public hearing, correct?
Right.
And
right now, we have no idea
if it's included or not, some of the
included or not. I agree with you on, but again, the homeowners association could also, I don't know if it collects, like I have a private homeowners association, and, you know, we have a guy that comes in and shapes our road. It's not paved, but if we need to clean out the ditches, we would have to pay someone to come in and clean out the ditches as well. I mean, the township isn't going to come in unless we set up SAD. So I don't know, is there something that the associations has looked at?
We don't have an association. We have a, so to speak, a mutual understanding on road.
Okay, all right. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay.
And it's worked well in the past. I mean, like anything. But that individual, Albert, he may like those streets. He may not want to cut those streets down so we can get proper treatment.
Right. Here's a problem with that. But it all depends on how, where the right-of-way is located for the road and what encompasses the right-of-way, if that includes the drainage. And so, but at the end of the day, if this becomes an added scope to the project, there's a whole different set of hearings. Plus, if there's additional right-of-way it has to be done, it has to be a public entity. Right now, this is all private. And so that whole ditching and I don't know enough about the properties to know how much right-of-way is from the road to the ditch and beyond. And again, it's all private. We're just fixing the road. But if it includes the drainage, in order to get that done, the citizens there is a process by which you can create a drainage district to come in and clean out all your ditching and set up a special assessment. It would be separate and distinct from the road repair. And that's a different process. It's under the drain code of the Michigan Drain Code. And
so I guess I would object to the improvements until the drainage situation, which is minor, is taken care of. And in fact, lies on Ore Valley residents, then so be it, and we need to address that issue.
Okay.
But I would not be in favor of the project going forward until some of the minor issues with that. I'm not asking for done, because Mr. Wesser's going to see to that, maybe in their village, if that passes.
We're hoping to address a lot of road issues, but at least in my opinion. So.
Those are my concerns.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else tonight? I'll close the public hearing. And I think that's the end of discussion at this point.
Well, if the board has...
Does the board have any comments? And Bob, you'll update with with Hubbell, and Clark, as to if any of that detail was a potential? at this
Yeah,
point?
absolutely. And
Okay.
I just want to know, the scope of work indicates very clearly does not include drainage improvements, because that was a concern that their ditches were overgrowing. But the road, they believe, the pictures that were just shown show the road covered in water. And that's due to the lack of crown and the fact the road sits lower than the side, the greenbelt area.
Okay.
They believe it will all be alleviated, the actual roadway flooding issues, if you will, aside from the ditches, because that is not part of the road.
Okay.
Have you walked that site, maybe take a look at how bad some of those culverts are, and from the standpoint of maybe a Vector can come in and clean those up?
Absolutely, and, you know, as a caveat, there are contingencies built into HRC's proposal. Certainly, they will entertain and look into that. They're certainly, you know, if it's minor, they will take care of it. However, it would come out of the contingency fees. But they certainly did not want to commit to taking over the drainage issue of the ditch line.
Okay.
And I don't want to belabor this, but can Hubbell, and Clark go into those areas without permission from the drain commissioner?
They can for surveying purposes.
No, but they can't do any construction in there without permission from the drain commissioner.
No, the drain commissioner has no jurisdiction over... It's private property. It's all private property. They need permission from the people who...
I was going to say, would they want to do, Hubbell, and Clark do that when the association or the people that brought the petition, they just wanted pavement, right?
That's exactly, it's the same scope of work that was presented back in 2010.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all private.
Right.
That's always a misunderstanding, that all drainage is under the jurisdiction of the drain commissioner, and that's not true. There's public and private drainage. Of the public drains, only those drains that were legally established under the drain
Who
code.
would they need to get a permit from to do actual drainage work within the...
They don't need a permit from anybody.
They go out and dig.
I didn't know that.
Themselves. They can hire, the group can hire...
It surprises me. I'm surprised that you can actually go out on your own property and put a ditch wherever you want.
Well, there are regulated wetlands, you've got
Right.
issues there, but in terms of you know, I mean, maintaining, that's the problem. I mean, the truth is that when it comes to property rights, you know, it's when there's a problem, they want government to come in and solve their problem, right? But when there isn't a problem and government wants to come in, nobody wants the government to come in and tackle anything. So it's, in this case, it's a classic case of private property where there are no public rights of way. It's all on the residents. I suppose each resident could, if you could go to each resident and say, hey, clean out your culverts, you know, that would be the way to go. But
Okay.
the other option is you could petition the drain commissioner, who can take over an existing drainage system and make it a public drain. They could do it that way.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Thanks, Bob.
I'll move to approve the resolution confirming the special assessment role, lien payment, and collection of special assessment.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Hopkins, second by Trustee Harper. Any discussion? Being now, I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Treasurer Honing?
Yes.
Trustee Kalani?
Yes.
Supervisor Fountain?
Yes.
Trustee Petrucci?
Yes.
Clerk Hopkins, yes. Trustee Jermaine?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. We have no pending business this evening. Our new business are water meter fees, and the meters have gone up in cost, I believe, and we need to have a resolution to adopt the new rate for the meters themselves, correct?
Yes, essentially as part of the 2014 EPA rule changes, meters can no longer be manufactured with any lead content in them, which has driven the cost of the meters up. The current resolution specifies specific prices for meters based on size. What I'm proposing in this resolution is to simply carry a cost plus 10%, so we don't have to revisit this every time there's a meter increasing.
Questions from the board? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move the resolution.
Support.
Motion by trustee Kalani, second by trustee Harper.
I think it's a resolution. Do we need to get a roll call?
It's a resolution.
Any discussion? If there isn't any, I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Sorry, just trying to get it. Supervisor Fountain?
Yes.
Clerk Hopkins, yes. Treasurer Horning?
Yes.
Trustee Petrucci?
Yes.
Trustee Harper?
Yes.
Trustee Germain?
Yes.
Trustee Kalani?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Okay. I gotta get back to the right. Hang on just a second until I get to the next part here. Okay, our next item is the video proposal. Video proposal was discussed at the administration, and at our last meeting, James had some information put out. His proposal is up for discussion this evening.
This has to do with upgrading video?
There was some of the things that we talked about as far as our communication element, some 1 to 2 minute videos talking about some of the things that we talk about here, our branding initiative, some of the different things that we do in our community. I think that was where he was talking about the mini promotional videos. The main promotional videos were, I think, more of what we're doing as a board. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy or Larry. Kind of like our scope of work for the year, our strategic plan, just laying out kind of where we're headed. He would be suggested some interviews with people within the community. So basically, it's to help promote our brand. This would all be put on our TV. With 30 to 35 interviews, just talking about what's happening in our community. So we're bringing this, we're trying to utilize the technology that we have to maximize our story, number one, and number two, this would be used PEG money, which is restricted. No, this isn't PEG money here.
Yes.
This is PEG money.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I got a funny look at it first. So this is PEG money that's really has real restrictions what it can and can't be used for. So it kind of fits into our strategic plan of communication. So I offer that to the board.
Just got a question. Where did you see the 30 interviews? Because when I was looking at this,
I'm on, it says video proposal Hartland Township number 1. And then it says the video proposal, it says videos $18,000, 30 to 35 interviews. And James recommended that we don't buy our own equipment. We hire somebody that has the equipment and the technology due to the fact that the technology is happening so fast, and it's going to be a lot more cost effective for us on a limited basis to do this with somebody that has all the equipment to begin with. The top of the page, Glenn, says video proposal for Hartland Township, Video Vision 360.
Aside from the fact that there's a couple of major typos in the agreement, number 6, warranty is spelled wrong. Warranty of originality, I don't know what that means.
That's, originality is not spelled right either, is it?
Yeah. There is this promotional consideration, and it reads, client consents to VV and consulting partners will use visible portions of the project specs for promotional marketing purposes. I'm trying to understand what that means.
What portion are you here, Joe?
It's the last sentence on section 4 of the contract. I think there needs to be some limitations on promotional considerations. What are they planning on using it for, you know?
I mean, are you talking about in terms and conditions number 4?
Yeah, promotional consideration. Did you see it?
All work, the one that says all work will, is the property of
Yeah,
UW
last
Entertainment?
Just says they could use us in their promotion.
Oh, you're saying, so if they could use us someplace else to garner additional, would you put something like that, caveat along with, Is
I think that
upon our
it should be
approval?
with it should be subject to our review and approval. I would say, there's some language that I would probably.
Would you be, with your background, would you be kind enough to perhaps review this, and we can table this to our next meeting and just give some...
Is there no hurry in it, correct? Is there?
Well, James wanted
to
to...
make it a discussion item, and he said he'd like action on it. Unless there was any major.
Well, we're back in 2 weeks.
Well, he did acknowledge that this is the first time the board has seen it, and
I have some, aside from the fact that the contract has some, this wasn't written by a lawyer unless the lawyer was dyslexic, and that could happen because some of these words are just spelled strangely. So
I would like to table this until our next meeting and let Trustee Kalani have an opportunity to review.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do a whole.
No, but you've already brought up a couple things that...
some things that I would be concerned with.
You're wondering what we're putting ourselves into.
Right.
I agree. Okay.
But I do still have one question, because it's unclear. It continually talks about us renting the equipment, but the way the proposal is written, it sounds like someone else is going to use it and produce it for us?
Yeah, we're using their equipment, or we would rent equipment to, as opposed to purchasing equipment on behalf of the township.
right, I think it has to do with the ability of how we can spend PEG money. So it's a rental of their equipment.
And so our own staff will use the equipment?
No, their staff is going to use the equipment.
So we're getting equipment plus professional expertise?
Now,
I move the table.
Okay, and one last item. James did do some research on this, and he said this was competitive for what we're getting. So that was what he had stated in our admin meeting.
Because it does seem to be concerned about the ROI at this.
Oh, and so we have a motion and a support table.
Or table. There's no discussion on a table.
Right.
I support the table.
Well, I think I had Joe Petrucci. I thought I had Joe Kalani and Joe Petrucci. I'm holding on here for Larry so he can...
Yeah, who, Kalani the mover?
Yep.
Petrucci second.
Second, yep. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. We tabled that. Okay, board reports. Board reports this evening. Start with, it's June already. Trustee Germain.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Petrucci.
Are we on the air?
To my knowledge,
We are audio.
We might be on
Through
audio.
the website.
Okay, because if we are, I just want to let the public know that the fire department is hosting an open house tomorrow, Wednesday, June 18th. That'll be at the Hero Building, which is next door to the fire station. The open house is from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. The Hero Building is a training center for the Blue Chip simulation for fire officers. Many fire officers from other cities and townships come here for recertification, and the department will be demonstrating the Blue Chip incident demonstrations at 4:30 and at 5:30. So if you're interested to see how the whole thing works, show up there tomorrow, and the public is welcome to attend.
What date was it again?
Pardon me?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
What time is the whole open house?
It's, the open house is from 4 to 6. There'll be some light refreshments there. And the simulation demonstrations will be at 4:30 and 5:30. So if you want to see how it actually works, they're going to do a couple of demonstrations on it.
Thank you. Clerk Hopkins?
I would just like to let everybody know that we received our absentee ballots today for the August election. So they'll be going out in the next week or so, have performed some tests on them, make sure that the election equipment reads them correctly. We do, of course, we sent our Mass AV applications out. We have applications for anybody that would like them. They can contact us here at the Township Hall, and we will send them out to them.
Thank you. Treasurer Horning?
This Saturday at the farmer's market, the library is providing entertainment. They're having a band come from 11:30 to 1 to kick off their library concert series, which starts on their lawn next Wednesday night.
So, say that again?
They're bringing a group to the farmer's market Saturday to perform from 11:30 to 1 and showing and kicking off their library concert, which starts next Wednesday.
Okay.
It will be every consecutive Wednesday this summer.
Cool.
Thank you. Trustee Kalani?
I just want to remind everyone, the next door Hartland Teen Center, or HERO, Hartland Recreational and Enrichment Organization, is having a 9-hole golf outing at the Majestic at Lake Walden on July 27th, starting at 2 o'clock, and looking for guests to come in and sponsor a foursome and play golf. It's a 9-hole course, so it should take right around 2 hours, maybe a little longer. Come out and enjoy the day. Everyone that's familiar with Majestic, it's a wonderful course to play golf, and I look forward to everyone. This is usually our biggest fundraiser of the year, although we're looking at some other fundraisers as well. And but look forward to your participation. That's July 27th, 2 o'clock at Majestic at Lake Walden.
Thank you. Let's see. Trustee Harper?
No report.
I started with Matt, correct?
Yes.
I have no comments. James isn't here. Information discussion, solicitation ordinance. We've had a lot of different discussions how to handle this. Kathy brought it up several months ago. One option on the table was you could call into the township and be on a do not knock list. The more I think about that,
That'd be a nightmare.
I think it could be a nightmare.
What would you
So-
have to do, hand out a list to everybody?
And well, who's going to force it?
Right.
We're not here 6 o'clock at night and the township hall's closed when they're coming around anyway, so I don't think that's an option.
Yeah. Personally, after listening to everything, since I'm the one who brought it up, and listening to all of it, and, people saying they hadn't heard that many complaints about it, maybe it's something we put on a future survey, for a large group. I mean, on Facebook, 40 people responded, I mean, if it hasn't been that big a problem in the township, maybe it's something that we need to ask the residents before we have another law. I mean, what do you guys think?
I would go along with that.
I would go along with that, too.
Yeah, I think
Anybody object? Matt, you're not too many people knocking on your door?
No, not usually.
you're too far a walk.
It's a long walk here.
Yeah.
Do you have a comment?
Well, in the prelim for this item 13A, it was indicated that Troy has recently passed an ordinance. Was that included with this? Because I didn't get a chance to.
No, it wasn't. He was just pointing out that they
You
have
could go to their
You
website.
can go to their website.
And they're the ones that instituted the no-knock list.
Right.
Yeah, but, I'm sure they have their own police and they have their own... Anything else this evening? And not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I had 2 motions on the left and supports on the right, so it's not Petrucci and Germain. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
So tell me again, we were not on TV tonight?
Probably not.
We might have been on, we still might be on audio. I don't
But
know,
I couldn't get the,
but we still might be on right now.
yeah, well, I just stopped it. So,
Does that stop it in there?
yeah, I don't think we're going out audio over cable.